Next up, in chapter 11 of Mastering Meditation, we'll be moving on to really one of my favorite parts of the whole book because he touches on some of my favorite topics. So here we'll be talking about Yoga Nidra, which you can essentially think of as being like sleep yoga. And so he writes, first, before I fell asleep each night, I would tell myself to awaken 5 or 10 minutes before my alarm. And if you've never tried to mess around and play with this, it's pretty interesting how consistent and accurate you can get with it. Or like for me, say if I have to wake up really early to catch, the first flight out to one of the neighbor islands for work or something like that, instead of setting my alarm for 4:30, even though that's when I intend to wake up, I'll set it for like 4:35, and then I try to, just tell myself to wake up at 4:30. And more often than not, will end up beating my alarm awake. And then this also makes me think of a pretty passive lucid dreaming technique that you can implement, where instead of when you go to sleep at night thinking, I want to get lucid at some point tonight, hopefully, try to make use of this and say, I want to get lucid specifically at whatever, say 4 a.m. And when it does work, it's really awesome. Or you'll be mid-dream, not aware of what time it is, right? For whatever reason, you get lucid in that dream. You go through it to its conclusion, you wake up, and you look at the clock, and it's like 4:15, 4:20 or something like that. And you'll be like, hey, it worked. I was really accurate with it. Next, I would hold and enjoy the in-between state before falling asleep. This happens when the subconscious mind is still present, but the subconscious brain waves are beginning to arrive. Can you guess what word he's going to bring up here pretty soon? This practice is especially useful since it helps to foster integration. I would sit with my sleepiness each night as long as possible, enjoying the hypnagogic state. There he goes. He finally brought it up. I love that. In the next step, I would lay down and completely relax, telling myself to fall asleep. Try this out and you will see what a paradox it is, and it is indeed a paradox. This forced me to learn about letting go versus forcing. I absolutely could not force myself into sleep. To succeed, I had to let go and induce sleep. I would imagine, and this is an interesting little technique that I forgot he wrote in here, but makes me kind of want to play around with it. I would imagine that I was snoring and soon would slip into the subconscious. After I learned to lead myself into sleep, I would tell myself to sleep for 5 or 10 minutes and then awaken. Telling myself to sleep for 5 or 10 minutes, then inducing sleep, then waking up again. As I continued with these exercises, I became more and more at ease with the slower brain waves, and I was able to maintain the conscious mind and the subconscious mind at the same time more and more naturally. Finally, I would do all my normal meditation techniques and then lay down with a blanket on the floor and fall asleep. At that time, I could not let go as easily as I can these days, and so the sleep would allow me to slip into deeper states. After all the meditation, then slipping into sleep, I would often wake in a completely altered state. Yeah, so that's basically it. That's all he said about Yoga Nidra and Hypnagogia, but I love it. And we'll wrap it up there and then continue on to chapter next.